game ever, man. I can't remember feeling like this about a CBLOL game in years. This is all it, and it's in the lower bracket, man.
It is really kicking off, and now we have to contend with the Fluxo blue side, okay? They have gone for the rel, the first rel they've had all series. Let's take a quick look at the bans as well. Tristana, LeBlanc, Azir, all banned away. Jojo, Rakan, permaban, Gigo, Olaf, and Grell, Lilia. Fluxo now on the rel, Kai'Sa themselves, and VKS, they've gotten back onto the Sejuani, and they've gotten damage back on the Alistar.
Renekton is going to be the valve that is left open for both VKS and Fluxo. Both having evenly matched Renekton performances from Gigo and Tay, but it's House who's going to lock in the Jace. They have the Kai'Sa in tow there as well. Xayah is going to be left up. The VKS, they have to drop back. They have to drop the Renekton pick. That means that the Xayah will be banned away.
Yeah, there's no way they let that one go. Surely, as Fluxo have returned to that poke composition, that they managed to stay alive back in Game 2 to get their first win. I must be said, last game was House's first game where he really played in this series, right? The LeBlanc was big. Even the Jace game where they won that game, it was not a big House performance. So we need to see if he's still ready to keep that LeBlanc momentum rolling and they can get that poke composition online, as they will have to deal with the Renekton, the Poppy, and the Maokai banned away by BKS, and Fluxo, they've taken away the Zeri so far.
They need a hero. That's all they've ever needed. Fluxo just need a hero, and it's got to be Brunsey. And it's got to be on Kai'Sa now this game. This will be the Xayah ban. Oh, it's a Nico. Actually, Xayah left up. Grevthar going to have to find a new mid laner.
Yeah, the Trigo Xayah wasn't as hot so far, as the Sivir might be the option. It's been banned a couple times. You've seen it come out in the latter weeks of the regular season. Can counter the wave clear, can be a very high scaling carry, but it's not long range. Against the poke comp, it's got the spell shield, but it can't really fling anything back.
No, it really can't. This would be a weird pick. I'm expecting Ezreal. No, okay, it will be the Sivir. Now, Trigo's been on the attack the last few games. We characterized him as a more defensive AD carry. He dropped that facade around Game 3 and decided to just go for blood game after game since then. And it has been just fireworks after fireworks, like a knife fight. Now here he's got the Sivir. Incredible. What was that pick? Oh, that's going to be, yeah, that's the Vi for Jasama's.
Jasama's back on the Vi. Did work out in that last game. Did manage to get some great ults off. Managed to get those single targets disrupted. Of course, now doesn't have a Viego to contend with. Now it's Grell and the Sejuani. A lot more stable up there. It's the last pick for Fluxo.
Oh, no.
It's the Cassante, baby! Well, it's probably safer than the Gnar in terms of getting pushed around in lane, and it's a bit more defensive, a bit more reliable later on, but it's not going to be carrying games, I dare say.
Grevthar is going to get put onto the Ahri, and with that Sejuani combination, it betrays a little bit more focus up at the top side for Gigo, trying to get him ahead on the Renekton. The Renekton-Cassante matchup is Renekton favor as far as I'm concerned in the CBLOL. And yeah, VKS with a huge step forward in the draft. Once again, Fluxo, we already said it in this Champions League, they need a hero. It's got to be Brunsey.
Yeah, we saw Fluxo try to run a similar comp to VKS in Game 1, right? They had the Ahri Renekton in those solo lanes. They tried to have a strong mid-game up that top side with a scaling AD carrying the Xayah down bot lane, right? It did not work at all. The execution wasn't there, and they fell behind and couldn't get it back in that series. Now, Trigo has the Sivir. He has the ultimate. He has that Warcry for Sivir that can help maybe get that top side into range of Brunsey, help Gigo chase down the Kai'Sa. But it still doesn't have that much range itself, and this is a late-game champion, right? This is not a mid-game spiking pick. They are not going to be able to rely on that Sivir for damage until we get later into the game.
It has been an absolute slog, viewers at home. You're starting to see a little bit of fatigue in the eyes and faces of the players, in the knees of Grell. And if we're being honest with ourselves, the casters are feeling it too. It's been a long day, but this by far will be the best game I've ever casted. I cannot wait for this Trajan.
Gotta get stuck in here, and this is just the first round of playoffs, everybody. Who loses here goes home. You can see the Cade Stars Warriors as still buoyed up as ever. They lost the last game, but they were ready to take this series. And the Purple Inferno representing Fluxo, no doubt feeling good the momentum on their side. Going into game 5, Fluxo versus the Vivo Cade Stars. It all comes down to this, Axeman. Let's see who moves on.
One more time on a Summoner's Rift. You can hear the energy in the studio, in the arena. 2 games apiece. It all comes down to this. They're on the Rift.
Okay, let's check at the runes. Let's see if we've got anything untoward going on here. Fairly standard across the board that we can see. Brunsei, you know he's going to be going back to that full AP poke build.
Yeah,
he's been enjoying. Yeah, get him. Get stuck in. It's level 1. You got no other abilities. I don't care. Auto attack to death, you know?
No, get stuck in. Supportal combat. That's what I say.
Yeah, give it to him. Now, we have seen a bit of a sketchy level 1 last game where Grell gave up that first blood. They're getting a bit too aggressive on the wrong side of the map. Fluxo going to get some vision down, but they won't find the kills this time. And we have to keep an eye on Tay here, right? We know that Gigo is on form. We know he's playing hot. We know he can abuse Fluxo if they let him get too big. But Tay did a much better job weak-siding last game. Had the Maokai pick for it. Was very useful in team fights. And didn't let Gigo run amok.
This is not the level 1 positioning of any other team in the CBLOL. The Fangs are bared. They're both staring daggers down at each other, threatening positioning. And look at this, the setup now. The jaws open wide in the bot lane for JoJo and Brutzy. These 2 teams are ready to fight, and they're ready to fight from level 1.
They're ready to get stuck in. That's what we want to see. As we see top lane Gigo likely to have the run of these early levels. Tay has been playing very respectful up there, giving up space where he needs to. He's happy to go down in CS if it means he doesn't give too much of an advantage over. And Bruntsy and JoJo, you can see zoning Trigo and damage off the way from level 1. The Sivir just cannot contend with a Kai'Sa's level 1 ability on that passive.
No, not at all. Could be the engaged. Greftar, House, they're going to trade back and forth in the middle lane as well. This Ahri, Jace matchup, we've already seen it. Wound up eventually going Jace favored. But the Ahri gets their licks in early. Ahri hurts.
Yep. Ahri should be able to safely farm the wave. Decent poke to fire back in the 1v1 as well. Howes has to commit into melee range to really get that full combo. It's going to leave him vulnerable to players like Grell or Damage if they're going to roam up to try and keep him down. A quick way to lose a game is to let Howes get rolling, let him start snowballing, as we saw in that last game there on the LeBlanc.
Trades back for topside. Guigo going to take a turret shot, actually. Very tight up topside there. Grell is not positioning for the level 3 dive. But Tay, you got to expect it, right, man? I mean, like, he's had it happen to him before already this series.
It's been regular. He's got to play safety. Not trying to commit for that. Not trying to trade HP at low HP, right? Doesn't know if Grell's around the corner, maybe. Don't put yourself in a bad position. You are on the weak side here today, Tay, as usual. Back in the comfort zone, all right? We've got House, we've got Bruntsy. They can take the carry burden. Just be stable up there. And for Gigo, he needs to crack Tay open. He needs to build that lead himself. Try and be that mid-game threat that he was when he won on Renekton earlier today.
Speaking of getting stuck in, look at the trading topside here. Grell is here to support. Needs that wave crash in. Reset channeled.
Grell can stop this recall. Tay's not going to get away with it. A tower shot from Grell, but a big wave, and Gigo's got the Fury stacked up. He's got enough for the stun. Tay, can we maneuver our way out of this one? He has the knockup, and VKS are trying to hold it. Waiting for Tay to use cooldowns. Gets the double knockup. Flashes to safety. Has the shield, but Gigo is in. Has the first blood, and he's out of tower range.
Beautiful play there from Gigo and Grell. We've seen it before, and we'll see it again before playoffs is done. VKS are huge with this top side gank. Incredible communication between these 2 players. Incredible synergy.
Absolutely. It was so patiently played, right? They sat and waited for Tay to burn those abilities, burn those cooldowns. And then Gigo knew he had what it takes to dive in for that final hit to get that kill. And the Renekton is off the launch platform, looking lovely with that first blood gold. Now the lane's not over. That's not what you want to see if you're Brunsey. You've seen what happens when Gigo comes bearing down your neck with a gold lead.
Good stuff there. Man, oh man, is How's ever pain gaming in the mid lane here. Goodness sake, there's no mana, there's no health left either. Yeah, it's tough for him.
Samus on this top side now. He's going to pick up that scuttle, but you can see so much vision control still for VKS on that top side of the map. And Tay just needs to try and stem the bleeding, crash the waves, get away from danger if possible.
And it's just no good for the Vi. I don't think the positioning is correct here for Jasamis at this point in the game. I think you need to be playing around the objectives. You let VKS have objectives like this for free in the early game all series long. I just don't think it's appropriate anymore. You can't fall 4 or 5 times in a row.
Yeah, VKS are going to peel off this dragon now. We saw just the end of damage flashing to try and catch Brunsey, but didn't get the range right and critically did not burn the summoner from the Fluxo AD carry. So he still has those tools, and damage now has a lot less range, a lot less threat on that snap engage from the Alistar in those early fights. Tay really wants to get this wave in, man. He really just wants to crash it and move on. But Gigo says absolutely not, man. You have to trade it with your life.
No, he certainly should. Picking Casanti. How dare you? Jasami's going to start up this dragon, the first dragon, for Fluxo. Actually making his way across the map, forcing Grell off with a clever rotation from House and support from Bronzy and Jojo there too. They'll be just fine. Did Grevthar just miss everything?
I think he did, and there was no ult from Grell to follow it up, so House deftly sidesteps that gank while the dragon is completed. Looks like House may be still awake. He may not have gone back to bed after game 4.
Tough break for Cade Stars there. Yeah, House still awake. Maybe this time it's the big big Jace game we've been looking for. Big Grace. All split long from House.
That's Grell Jace. That's the Grell Jungle Jace that's coming out
Grell Jungle
next
Jace.
Year.
Coming to a CBLOL near you.
Yeah, stick around. Next year we might see some Grace on our hands as Tay is going to pick up this wave. A plate for Gigo as well, you can see. Very rich on the Renekton. This is what we expected, and it is playing out. Fluxo were not able to buck that trend, but they are continuing their trend of dragon control. They've got the Cloud there, Mountain next. So this means, Axeman, that the Soul is most likely going to be something very, very impactful. We'll pray for no Chemtech, but we could have Infernal or Hextech coming our way.
Could have Infernal. Fluxo have been kind of cursed with Chemtech dragons throughout the course of the split, so he's certainly in the cards for them as well. Not sure what the RNG is on that, but would love an Infernal for this squad. They've got tons of damage packed in, and they're looking to put it into damage. Wego caught out.
Jojo's arrived here. That's the knockup. They've got the Ignite as well. Pops the Dominus for the Renekton. That's useful for Tay. Doesn't have to deal with that threat. Can hopefully crash a wave one time because that ult is now down. So Jojo with a nice roam up to that top side again. The support's not really spending a lot of time in the bot lane overall.
No, not really. Jojo on his nature walk. Damage trying desperately to keep up with Jojo.
Yeah.
Exactly what
crocodile
path
spotting
is he following? Yeah.
He's going to spot himself one. Gets that Dominus down. And the Herald started by Fluxo. Are they going to try and get a single Herald, Axeman? They're going to get a Herald in this series?
I don't believe it. No, I don't believe it.
What does this mean? Surely this cannot be happening, as Grell looks like he wants to contest, but this is the position that the Samus was in the past on the Sejuani, struggling to find a way in as Fluxo have full control, but Grell's found the steal. Tay is in. There's no Dominus on Gigo, and he's just dead. A snap decision by Tay, and there it is. Fluxo in game number 5 get their first Herald of the day.
I hate to say it, Trajan. Pretty good Casanti play. Not that bad.
Yeah,
we're going to take down the Rift Herald, too.
Yeah, we'll give him the credit for that one. He couldn't outplay the dive, but that was a lovely catch on Gigo, and they set it up by stripping that ult off him earlier, right, with the earlier Jojo play. Love that from Fluxo. The early game plan going pretty darn well, and they've got the Dragon and the Herald to play with.
Better than it has gone, certainly, in this series.
Yes.
Previously, VKS Trigo trying to catch up desperately, and he will. A little bit there in the CS department. Start to pull ahead of Bronzy. The Sivir well on its way to making it to the late game, Trajan. Excuse me, I'm losing my voice.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
Yep,
I'm just hoping that this is we're hoping for CBLCK for the sake of my vocal cords today, guys. But there's one thing that Fluxo have been doing impeccably all day. There's been a lot of good and bad plays on both sides here today, let's be real. But the one thing that Fluxo have done amazingly is funnel gold into Bronzy from the earliest stage in every game. All the important kills are always going on to this guy, and that's why he's been able to be that hero that they needed.
Ooh. Gigo's so aggressive on this Renekton. Honestly, what we wanted from him all split long. I was talking up the Gwen, the Olaf. Just give me the Renekton. That's all I want. Bunch of damage, big reptile.
Let's get him.
Awesome.
Just beat him up.
Get in there, beat him
love
up.
that. The CBLOL Renekton is certainly a force unto itself. We haven't even seen the likes of Robo and FNB, who you'll be seeing later this weekend, going up against each other, potentially doing some Renekton trading of their own. But for now, it is Gigo holding the mantle of Renekton players everywhere to try and prove that he can beat even Cassante, even the champion with 4,700 HP, you know, 500 armor, etc., etc. Copy pasta ensues. But so far, he's been handling it all right.
Top side, whole lot of nothing. We go with a little bit of kill pressure, but Tay just sticking up under that turret. He's trying to CS the best he can. Things come to a bit of a lull state. Once again, a slower game despite all the action. Just 2 kills at 10 minutes. And both teams trying their best to stay even with one another, not to give up the game, not to coin flip like you said, Trajan.
Oof, Trigo barely sidestepping the crash down there, and the Fluxo bot lane a little out of position here. Damage has the flash, holding it for now, and it's still an HP lead for Fluxo here as the dragon spawns up. Grell and Grevthart with a lot of vision control to play with, but Fluxo, they've got the health advantage, and House is pretty strong. They've got Static Shiv and Brunsey as well. We'll see if VKS are able to pick this objective up.
Should be able to look to do just that. Fluxo, they control the mid lane. They drop the Rift Herald. They'll be able to rotate over and look for that dragon for that continued win condition here. No, go with the reset, actually. Not going to look for that
thought we were
whatsoever.
going to do that. I thought we were going to do dragon with the split focus, but we just drop it and recall. Perhaps some item spikes being hit, maybe, that they want to get on deck and they don't think VKS can pick it up, but they're still controlling the river. So Fluxo, a slightly unorthodox approach to this normal flowchart of play through the mid lane. And they do have some big item spikes coming through.
I don't know. That's the biggest item
sword
spike.
shoes as well. We're going even more poke than last time. I think he actually went Berserker Greaves in that first poke game, but now he's all in, bro. He is all in on those W's. As the Samus is going to catch damage. He does have the Hour Soul if needed. Drop him pretty low. House is there as well. He's got the Duskblade. That poke is big.
Poke's huge coming through so far. And it's on to Samus to start up this objective, or they just want to keep controlling the map. I think you got to let Fluxo cook a little bit here, but they're eventually going to get onto this dragon, Trajan, and they'll take it down. We'll get to see what solo it is coming up in just a bit. Pray for Infernal.
He goes. I don't think he's trying to fight here. He's just going to pick up another wave, I guess. But oh, it's Chemtech. Come on, man.
It's a curse.
No.
It's a curse on Fluxo.
Deary me. Not ideal, but Fluxo, they'll take it. They'll take a soul of any kind, to be honest, over not having it, I suppose. And they are even in gold with the dragons and great objective control. This feeds into a point, I think, that we mentioned earlier on in the split, which is that Fluxo, they don't throw games. A lot of games are thrown in the CBLOL, and Fluxo have great comeback potential, but they're usually not the ones to throw a significant lead. And if they're going into a game even, into a mid game, into a late game, they're more than likely to win.
They certainly are here. Brunsey will rotate in the mid lane, along with Trigo. And they'll duke it out in that lane, back and forth, but the Static Shiv always gives you a leg up in the wave control. It's just that the Sivir has really nice wave control built into the kit as well, so not a lot of minions in this lane.
Not a lot of minions on the Rift, to be honest. Yeah, with the Shivs both on either side, Jace on one side, Ari on the other. There's not going to be a lot of lifespan expectancy here for minions, generally speaking, on this Rift. Both teams definitely approaching this game with a bit more of a reserved attitude, a bit more control. No one wants to pull that crazy trigger that loses them the whole series and ends their competitive year. Damage had some questionable engages before. Jojo some bad hooks, but they were holding on to these spells right now. As I say, that damage goes in, takes a big chunk down from Brunsey. He's separated from his team and has to flash to safety. Less than ideal positioning from the Fluxo AD carry, as they're committing onto Gigo once again, but he has the Dominus. VKS happy to take this fight on a flash. There's Kai'Sa. It splits across the map as Tay eliminates Grevthar, but can't kill him as Jojo the first to fall down. VKS trying to push forward. The damage is massive and the play is theirs.
The scaling's not there yet for Fluxo. The damage isn't there yet for them either. And they dump a bunch of resources into Gigo. We'll take a look at the replay after this fight. But VKS, I don't know what it is. Something in the water out there. They have to get Rift Herald. They just have to.
It's a natural law of the universe on Summoner's Rift today. Only once bucked by Fluxo, but BKS right back with it, and they get the lead back themselves as well. A very lucrative fight for them, as Brunsey starts us out just on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, Brunsey's not available, unfortunately, for this fight. Doesn't get too many auto attacks off, but doesn't really have the damage to make the difference anyway. And yeah, a bunch of ultimates dropped onto Gigo there, dropped onto Grevtar on the side a little bit. It's a split fight for Fluxo, and the damage just doesn't end up going anywhere meaningful.
Yeah, as you say, they don't have the spikes yet. Kai'Sa particularly is not strong on just the static shiv. Trigo on the Sivir, not a strong early game champion, but a Kraken Slayer will do a whole lot more than just the static shiv will. VKS get a great lead for themselves right there, so now they have some gold heading into that mid game, and that's so important for them, right? They have this Renekton, this Ahri. They need these champions to be able to hold down the mid lane like the Fluxo ones were not able to do in game one. They have a hope of going late and finding them for Sivir later.
Things go back to a lull state, Trajan, with just 2 kills increased over the last 6 minutes, both of them going down for the Cade Stars. And things will get slow again now. Less than 1,000 gold between these two teams. The closest series I've ever cast. All 5 games so far have just been brutally close.
Yeah.
All game long, right up to the end, till the Nexus explodes. Ton of fun, Trajan. I can't even begin to analyze what's happening between these two teams right now.
Every game has been closer than the last. But Fluxo right now have no interest in picking a fight. I think they need to get summoners and items back on their important players. As down goes that BKS held into the top side. It's going to crack this first turret gold. More gold into Grevtar. Hasn't found the kill just yet. They've got an engage on mid lane as well. But is it too far forward without Grevtar? He's TP'd in, but Brunsey's already found a kill. Fluxo dive forward for more. Trigo barely gets one as House trades it back. But VKS, they've still got the lead. They're still winning the fights, and a flash from House will keep him alive. But it's a 2 for 3 at the end for VKS.
Beautiful stuff there for VKS. They start to blow the game wide open. 1.5k gold lead now for Trajan. No, not for Trajan. For Cade Stars. It is you, actually. You are winning. Tay caught out now. Gigo on top of him.
Tay in the side lane. An uncharacteristic overextension here for the Fluxo top laner. He has a flash. Would love to hold on to it, but has to drop it in the end. TP is ready. I don't know if he can hold on to this tower, honestly. I think VKS have just picked up another.
I think they have as well. Gigo will force that one down on the other side of the map. House taking down the top side. Turret trading that one back for Fluxo. Fluxo's still in this game, but they've been here before. And it takes a miracle play from Brunsey to get them out of this. How many more miracles does Brunsey have left in him?
I don't know how deep his pockets are. He's got to find some more. As again, BKS, we've seen this story so many times, Axeman. You're absolutely right. The dragon stacking starts for Fluxo. They lose control of the mid game. BKS picks it up and stops them getting to soul point early as they would like. And this looks like it's going to have to go down to that poke wars before Fluxo. They just need the items. They just need this comp to come online. And then they have to hope that the Sivir isn't enough to ruin it.
Definitely will here. Jasamis on the hunt, looking to set up vision control. And they'll have to play for map control as they look for this bot side turret.
House trying to get some more objective gold. He picked up that top lane turret. He's well up in CS, but Gigo gets on top of him. There's no flash, no reduction just now. And the Sejuani ult hopes for a more committal fight from House there. Doesn't connect. But this Jace is way further ahead than they were before. 1-0 and 2, big CS lead. Just completed that Mirror Mana. And might be able to offer a little bit more to help get them through until Brunsey can get that third item on deck.
And that's a trademark of Fluxo victories too, right? Just last game we saw similar performance from House, kind of a slow early game. Then the LeBlanc picked up a few solo kills, picked up a few kills on damage here and there. Suddenly, tons of damage coming out of House. House able to co-carry with Brunsey, help Brunsey pull off those miracles. We're seeing it happen again here. VKS, you gotta be careful. You can't give up those picks to House. You can't let Brunsey get the multi-kills.
Yeah, they've just got to... It's tough for them, right? They need to hold on to this lead and keep building it, keep pushing it. But they can't risk giving gold over to Brunsey and House. The quicker you get them to that late game, the quicker it might become just as unplayable as it was in game number 2 when VKS had the lead. As before, had 2 Barons in that game, but at some point, the game just became absolutely unplayable for them. And if you put one foot wrong, it's one step further for Fluxo towards that state of the game.
2 items on the Renekton now. I don't think you get much stronger than that for Renekton here. 20 minutes of 2 items. Bit downhill from here for the Croc, but he's up a full item over Tay, so he'll be just fine for a little bit. Moving forward, it's the Baron that spawned just 30 seconds ago. Both sides at least having to acknowledge its existence on the map.
Yeah,
we'll see. Yeah, if they must, but still more slow play here from them. 2 teams trying desperately not to lose the game.
Yeah, and I think this just favors Fluxo. Trying not to lose favors the poke composition that needs to get items, whereas VKS, yes, they have a Sivir, but the Sivir only has 1 spell shield, and I don't think it's going to be enough to make it work for VKS unless they can use the Sivir ult to find the fights they need and stop Fluxo from getting the poke down. I really feel like there's more pressure on VKS to make something happen. They've got 2-item Ahri, 2-item Renekton, 2-item Sedge. This is like peak mid-game fighting time for VKS. They need to use these tools as Grail. Force the flash away defensively. Jojo with a lovely catch on the rail. Desamas wants even more. He's onto Trigo. They've got that carry down as House completes it. Double TP in from VKS. It's not unplayable for them. They've still got that strong topside. Brunsei, he's caught up. He's cleansed. He's down. Gigo can look to carry another team fight as House desperately wants to complete that kill on the Renekton. They really need to get this Croc dead. And Tay secures it. In goes the Cassante. Surely to be caught up on the backline. He's gone all out. But can he take the fight? Gets another knockup. Desamas is back in and House just isn't sure if he can make it work. Another fight on a knife's edge the entire time, Axeman, but VKS holds strong.
VKS just narrowly pull out ahead in this fight, picking up only 1 additional kill, I believe, in that fight. What an effort it was from them to hunt down Brunsei and make sure that he died at the top of this fight. Look at this replay. It's Jojo over the wall, and then Jasama's sword with the ultimate onto Trigo. They delete him in short order, but the teleport from Gigo. Look at this effort onto Brunsei.
This is without the Sivir ult, right? This is even without the speed boost that Gigo could have, and he still manages to make it work.
They still do, for sure. Fluxo deserve a bunch of kudos for killing Trigo at the top of the fight, but, I mean, there's just too many weapons for VKS.
And damage, you can see, still has the Alistar at the end of all that. It's probably why Howes doesn't feel confident going in. He can't make it past the Alistar to try and hit those low HP targets, and ultimately it's all feeding into the extension of the gold lead for VKS. It's a close fight, but now they're 2.5k ahead. And Fluxo still desperately trying to hit those power spikes. Working towards 3rd item for Brunsei, for House as well. Gigo without the summoners now, but VKS are starting the Baron. They know they need to keep the pace high, and they're going to rip it.
They will rip it here. Grepthar on the flank. You see damage on the flank there too.
Brunsei with no summoners. Gigo is terrifying for him. Damage is in. Doesn't get a great pick. It's only onto Tay. And Brunsei gets some damage down. Gigo pops the Dominus, but doesn't find his way into the backline. Grepthar still looking for a flank angle. Trigo's going lower. He's picked up by Desamas. Fluxo with another important carry down. But you've got to control the Croc. Tay is on Grepthar's fight. Brunsei looking for an angle. Howes trying desperately to escape. Gigo and Grell. The 2G topside is too strong. They find the stun. They find the Q. And Howes is picked off again. It's VKS clutching their way out time after time in this game, as Jojo will crash down over the wall to safety.
They totally forced Brunsei out of the fight this go around. There's nothing for the guys to do. No way for them to get into this game. VKS are going to be stacking Chemtech Dragons here over the next few minutes if they're going to win the game. Just up, again, a few thousand gold over Fluxo. Nothing too serious, but things starting to get a little bit wider, a little bit hairier, Trajan. It's always going to take a miracle from Brunsei. It's always going to have to be that late game Kaiser that we saw in game 3. But yeah, I mean, he's got it.
And the Chemtech Drake stacking up VKS. It's tenacity and it's heal and shielding power. Gigo loves that. He wants to be able to dive onto the backline where Fluxo can't stop him. Pull off a massive Gore Drinker, Cull the Meek heal to keep himself alive and waste more of Fluxo's time. As Tay is alongside the map right here. Fluxo should have enough people in range to keep him alive, but BKS are closing in. I don't think it's enough to get the kill. And at the least after all that for Fluxo's side, the Baron didn't go down, but you can see BKS are still threatening.
Alright, you see the Brunsey Void Seekers starting to come out here. He stacks 2 up, and you have to start getting worried about these if you're a carry. That front line can still take those for the time being, but if you're Trigo, you got 1 spell shield, and that's it.
Yep, he needs to play with those summon as well. Ooh. They have been focusing him down well, and the damage is huge. It's been all about the top side for K-Stars, keeping them in this game, stopping Fluxo from running away with it, and they have a little window left where there's no Ludens, where Brunsey doesn't have quite the damage he's going to have later on. And the K-Stars are back to the Baron. Once again, they're trying to push this advantage.
Brunsey just knows where you are. Little touch onto Grevthar.
They're doing damage, fighting on the side. Jojo's been caught out. They pushed him into the rest of BKS. Damage with a critical pick, and they don't have the CC. Surely Fluxo cannot mount a real attempt here. They have to peace out. They head back to the mid lane.
Nothing really to fight for there. Not 4v5 anyway. Fluxo, things go from bad to worse. Down 5k now. And mounting our VKS's chances of victory in the best of 5. This is game 5. This is for all the marbles. And man, oh man, VKS are putting up a good argument for why they should move forward in the playoffs bracket.
Both of these teams have shown us such high highs, such devastating lows throughout the course of this series. It is pure, unadulterated CBLOL diff here today in the playoffs, Axeman. And currently BKS, they hold all the cards. They've got the Baron. They've stopped the Dragon stacking. And they're still in a very strong mid-game state this early on. Fluxo just don't have the inventory power to fight back properly.
No, they don't have it, right? We're not even at 3 items yet for Brunsey. Not same thing for House. Nothing really to write home about there damage-wise. You look across the pond, we got Stasis. We're pushing 3 items. Everything looks grand. Nothing really you can fight for. We're past 3 items, Sergigo. Excuse me. And yeah, that Warmog's completed for Sejuani. Huge front line for the K-Stars.
Yeah, really helps you deal with that poke. Grail can stand kind of boldly in front of his teammates now, absorb those Void Seekers and heal the damage back. Just a few seconds of rest. Brunsey is working the Leandries this game, not the Ludens. He knows he has to burn through these high HP targets, keep those Leandries ticks, stopping the Warmogs from proccing. But it's going to be such a more difficult task to burn through that front line this time around. And BKS has all the control they need, pushing into the jungle as they love to do. Oh, that ward is so good for BKS. Look, they know exactly what Fluxo are doing.
Yeah, a pretty solid ward. Pretty solid ward, if I do say so myself. Oh my word. No one from the K-Stars top side has died yet. They'll go for the dive.
Just pushing him with the Baron. Chipping away at the turrets, extending that gold even further. Keeping control of the map. As Howes might be caught. Flash is traded. His damage is in pretty deep here. He's going to surely have to burn the ult. He's not going to be allowed to escape this one. It's a support for bot lane tower, but Fluxo still have to deal with Gigo. Disarmus Vault Breaker stops him in his tracks, and it's just the 1-for-1 trade. Turret for a life. 50 seconds until the Dragon. 30 seconds left on the Baron buff.
Could be the best hope. Fluxo are going to get this 5v4.
They can force it. Gigo's got no Dominus. They can get that fight. They'd love to find it, but BKS know that they're stepping away quickly. Fluxo can't get it done.
House just isn't there, and he shouldn't be. He's clearing the waves down bot side, trying to get as much CS as he can. The reset for a 3rd item is in his future, but yeah, there's just nothing really. Fluxo can play around there on the engaged for VKS. Now just saw him is trying to push out a little bit. I don't think they have a prayer at this Dragon. It's going to be 3rd Chem Tech Dragon for the K-Stars. That is quite the advantage for them. Those stats really start to stack up, Trajan.
It's tough for Fluxo to deal with. They're not going to contest, as you say. Leandries is done for Brunsey. He's got to that mythic point. 3rd item for House as well. We're starting to reach critical mass for Fluxo. But a Rabadon's on top of that is a lot of gold, man. Another 3.6k that he needs to find to really hit that stage he reached before. And BKS are being a lot cleaner with the pushes in this game, not offering opportunities for throwing. They put themselves up at soul point already.
things slow back down again. As both sides equalize. Damage actually going to go all the way forward. Holy
Rails
cow.
on the front line. Gigo's there. Bronze trying to clean out a wave. Fluxo. It's nowhere safe to stand when the engage could come through from Grell at any second. They can just count their lucky stars that damage doesn't currently have flash. Keeps them a little safe for a little while longer. The Baron is up pretty soon as well, under 2 minutes, and BKS would love to pick up another one. That could mean inhibitors. That could mean the whole damn series.
Definitely could. Gotta watch out for the Sejuani engage here. That is a tough Sejuani. 4-0 and 8. Not only hard to cut through, but dealing a bunch of damage and healing a lot with that Radiant Virtue. And the Warmogs there too keeps her out on the map much more than you would normally think. Stasis also going to be picked up for Grell here too, as well as Sir Trigo, making it that much more difficult to kill the members of VKS.
Yeah, buying more time, right? Buying time for Gigo to get another heal off. For Trigo to get his cooldowns back, to try and pump out those ricochets. There's already the Zhonya's on Grevthar. They have the poke for Brunset. I will say for this. For Fluxo, they really want to leverage the poke. The burst isn't as important for them. The stasis isn't too much of a problem. If they can get them low enough that it just doesn't matter anyway before the fight even starts, it should be fine. But they still need to make that work. They need to keep Gigo off them, avoid the Sivir ultimate. As it looks like Brunset is going for the Void Staff instead, not the Rapidance here. There's not a lot of magic resist on the side for BKS, but you've got to imagine it's going to come soon.
He's in the Leandres too, trying to cut down some of these tanks a little bit more, with a little bit more burn, but interesting build paths here too. I think that's Cyrilda's Grudge for House, trying to cut through the armor, deal as much as they can to this massive front line that have built up in front of Cade Stars, or built up in front, of Cade Stars.
The double
Very
static
difficult to cut
shiv.
through. Ooh, look at that poke.
Wave clear on either side. Hard to get any kind of push on the wave, but BKS, the Baron is live. The last Baron plays they had have been very successful. Overall, it's been a great objective for them. And we're going to put the series on the line here, Axeman. BKS, they need to keep Fluxo out. Don't get it stolen like it was taken through. They peel off, they look for the fight. Where's House? Where's Brunset? BKS, they get the first kill. They're going to find the second as well. They don't even need the backline as they've already taken down two, and House is almost caught, but not quite. Grevthar hounding him through the jungle. Goes golden to keep himself safe as the Jace will not survive.
A killer team fight for the Cade Stars, Trajan. And they're marching towards victory. Is this the final push? They're going to need the wave with them. They're also going to need to cut through the remainder of Fluxo. It's going to be tough. But this is an opportunity for them. We'll see if they get through these inhib turrets. May just well take the reset.
Yeah.
But the teleports are coming in.
They're not focusing all on one wave. They're going for multiple inhibs to try and secure that Baron. But if they lose the fight here, they can lose that objective. No charm lands from Grevthar. Fluxo trying to hold on to those summoners. As Gigo drops so very low, if he went down there, that could have been disastrous. Trigo's been caught in front of the inhibitor. He's gone golden. Could Fluxo find him? The late game carry. Trigo served himself up. His team was gone, but he was in. As Brunset looks for damage, Tase in with a TP. Fluxo, they've mounted comebacks before. And if BKS given them the window, have they taken the win and just tossed it out the door? As one by one BKS members fall, now the Baron is bare.
Can't believe it, Brunset. Fluxo, they're going to be able to take down the Baron here. For essentially free, the last dragon is up in 40 seconds, but they'll be able to reset, push the waves out and fight for that too. Trajan, everything suddenly flipping in the way of Fluxo. They're still down a lot of gold, and there's a lot of ground to make up for them. But the miracle has arrived, and it was a team effort this go around. They get the objective. Jisamis, honestly, getting this pick. This was incredible. Watching Trigo step too far out and correctly identifying that he had a way in the Q ultimate to connect with the Sivir. Absolutely deleted that champion, and then they run down the rest of BKS. Really good effort here from Tay, I believe, who teleports in the backside. Yak goes all in onto Gigo. They get the kill on the Renekton. and follow that up as well. Beautiful stuff from Fluxo. They don't stop believing. They keep trying even in the face of overwhelming odds.
And I dare say VKS and the Cage Stars fans in the audience maybe thought they had the win sewed up with that fight and those inhibs. But just like that, it's all gone at the end of it. The inhibs are still down. We've got another fight in front of us. VKS can still make it happen. Brunsey gets away alive, but he has to deal the damage. VKS, they don't care one bit for him. They found the front line again. And surely they will not offer the same mistake as last time. Tay is wasting a lot of time here. VKS, Greptar finds the charm, and they'll get the Chemtech Soul as a reward. But that front-to-back team fight was always going to favor them.
Chemtech curse continues for Fluxo. And yeah, that Soul's going to deal a lot of damage with quad-stacked Chemtech Dragons, Trajan. Cannot believe that they were able to get all 4 of these stacked up in 35 minutes. But they'll be taking it into the base of Fluxo, who will have to defend their Nexus. This could be the last push of the split of the year for one of these two teams.
KS going for the flowchart once again, going for the triple inhib. Last time they tried to do it by the book and they left the door wide open for Fluxo. It is surely going to be the triple inhib as Gigo takes a lot of damage on the front line. House is looking on the flank poke angle. Look at that passive damage from the Kai'Sa. And Fluxo will hold on to their inhib with their barest fingernails. It won't be double supers just yet.
House wishing he drafted something with more wave clear, but Tay will help him out. And Brunsey walks out the remainder of VKS, walking them back to wherever they came from. Brunsey is in full form. He's got the 4 items. He's got the sword shoes and the stopwatch and toe, Trajan. It only gets a little bit better than this for the Kai'Sa. Maybe that death cap coming through, but this is about it. Those Void Seekers have to hit hard, and they have to hit true.
Oh, they're trying for a catch again. Brunsey!
No, they
Where's he
caught him!
gone? What's he doing?
No!
Brunsey! Not like this! No summoners! No stasis! No inhibs! How can it end like this, Axeman?
It's got over a minute on the death timer. I think that's just it. I don't know what even led him to be there. Why would he be there? There was no one around him.
You can see him looking at his camera, doesn't know what to say. Reminds me of Jensen from that series back in the old days on Cloud9. And Fluxo have to put together the craziest 4v5 defense when you don't have your pivotal member to keep yourself alive in the CBLOL. House is in there for the poke, but the front line's already melting. Cage Stars, at the end of it all, they get the perfect pick on the hero from Fluxo, and Brunsey ends up as the downfall for this team. VKS will take their win. They'll complete their story they started writing from Split.